I wish YouTube intros weren't so hard. I've recorded this probably 20 times. I'm not sure how to start this video other than I'm going to review some products that I have found and that I think are going to do great. And then kind of show off this little RC truck I've been building. Been taking a break from one-to-one stuff or real truck stuff because not by my choice. I've been waiting on some parts. So I'm going to make a quick little video on reviewing some stuff. And if you like it, like, comment, ask questions. I'll respond to you the best that I can. Before I go any further, if you don't like this explanation or, you know, talking is not for you, you want to get down to the nitty gritty, I'll put the times and stuff to skip forward and see the actual review of the parts and stuff that I got going of the Exocaged inserts and locked up hardware and all that kind of stuff. But this is my build. It's a TRX4. Started out life as a 79 Bronco. Had the 2-speed, still does have the 2-speed transmission, the locking differentials. I've gone to spools, some axle brass, and it's gone through multiple stages. I had the 79 Bronco, built bumpers and sliders for it, torched that body, then built that, rocked that for a while until I beat it enough that it had twisted the C-channel rails, because I ran some 4S stuff in it and treated it like a rock bouncer. Body's in pretty good shape for doing that, but I got out of it for a while, went back to building real trucks, and then a couple buddies messaged me while I'm home alone. They got crawlers. They want me to put a crawler together. So this started out as a parts bin build, and now it's gotten out of hand like most everything that I build. I started off with just building a roll bar and then ended up building this whole rear crazy looking stuff. The whole idea of the truck is a ultimate adventure rig from about 2005, 2006. It was a yellow Chevy stepside. This is called the Tatered Chevy because it's my version of it. I don't have access to print all the scale stickers and all that, but I heated up the body, bent it all up, beat it all up. I'm good with working with metal. Nobody makes a visor that I wanted, so I built a visor. Built all this tube stuff. All my lights and winch and stuff are from RC 4-wheel drive. Gonna be running the Hobby Wing Fusion Pro. I had it in another TRX4 build, and it is phenomenal in a TRX4. Such control. I got it down to where it's just hardly creeping, and I can put the remote down and watch it climb up anything. Reefs RC steering servo, which is the first high quality servo I have, so I'm super excited to run that. I've got an interior to it. My receiver box is up. I've been watching YouTube while I've been home, and RC Sparks has a couple of Top Truck Challenge events on his YouTube channel I've been watching, and the biggest problem with them is they run out of signal when they run into water. So I can actually put my receiver there, and then my antenna can run up a tube in between the back of the cage and the back of the cab. So I can hopefully be able to run this thing underwater. And I have a dash pad that hides the steering servo and stuff. The steering servo is actually a stock locker actuator servo and mount from Traxxas. Put it in there because I wasn't using it on this truck anymore since I said I went to spools. So the steering wheel is going to move when I move the tires. Yeah, other than that, I really wanted something super scale and got a little too deep into it. It's just supposed to be a parts bin. The hardest part about it has been trying to balance the look of scale and still have the space for the battery and the motor and all that stuff. The cool thing about the Quick Run is that it's a motor ESC combo. I don't have to have extra real estate on the chassis for an ESC. It is all in one. So all I have is a battery connecting and then a push button for power, and it should be ready to rock. So it's a winch front and rear. I'm going to mount for this fuel cell. This fuel cell is out of an Axial Capra. I think it's the 1/10 scale one. This little cap in the middle comes out, and I'm going to put a tube up to the roll bar and be big nerd. So everybody knows the fuel cell is down low. I mounted the fuel cell down underneath the chassis like a real fuel cell would be. It's going to house the servo winch when I get one. It's going to be bolted pretty good in there and then come out to the fairlead and then be tied to a snatch block and stuff. So hopefully a small servo winch that fits in this will be able to at least pull this truck backwards out of a mud hole. So yeah, if you got any questions, just feel free to comment and I'll do my best to answer anything. Everything I bend is with a vise and a hammer, a ball peen hammer and a vise and Sharpie, and some of it's tube, some of it is pencil rod. Most of it's pencil rod, some of it's tube. Yeah, other than that, to go on the dash, these guys printed these CB radios. I like CB radios in all my rigs. These guys are super cool. I bought one, complete one. They sent me another one and some air fresheners that I didn't know about until it got here. This guy prints a bunch of stuff for RC lowriders. I think they're called like a donk or something like that, where they have hydraulics and they do this and that. Super cool. But he 3D prints all of the scale hydraulic switches and stuff to be in the cab of those cars. But he printed they printed out these die for me that are going to hang it from the rear view mirror of sorts, this tube that I put in there from some fishing line. And then I have a scale tack that's in there. It's going to go in the dash, kind of add a little bit of a realistic thing when you're looking inside the window. I've got some pretty cool stickers from these guys, East Coast Vinyl Works, high quality. They're all from the 80s. I like 80s stuff. So this truck's going to be sticker bombed. I got some cross bracing to do in here and then some inner paneling to do, and then sticker bombing the inner paneling and painting and all that stuff. And it's supposed to be done in 5 days. So I don't even have my wheels yet. So yeah, on with the reviews. Well, I'll start off first by reviewing some of these awesome products that Lockedup has. You know, I've not been in RC too terribly long. I don't have a big name. This isn't a big YouTube channel, but hopefully somebody finds this useful. A lot of their products are pretty cool. I've had a couple set of their scale hubs, which are these right there. This look like a scale lockout or a worn hub, and then the rear looks like a stub on an axle shaft and hub on a full floating rear axle from really any brand. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna paint there's little bolts sticking out and then that little nub in the middle of it like a real axle shaft. I'm gonna paint all those silver so when I'm crawling you can see them moving. But other than that, the Lockedup stuff, I've got 5 of these rings to go on 5 of CNC Customs rings. You can find them on Instagram, or CNC Custom Wheels. You can find them on Instagram. He does really nice work. I'm super excited. I've been waiting for about 2 years to get my hands on a set of his wheels. But they work with Lockedup rings. So I've got 5 of these and I've got 5 of these, and they look really, really nice. I'm super excited. These are a different set of Lockedup RC rings that I sat and polished about 3 years ago. So they've been bouncing around in toolboxes and whatnot. So they're a little scratched, but their scale hardware, I freaking absolutely love it. They are a lot better aesthetically than an Allen head bolt. I use them on everything that you're going to be able to see on this truck is going to be a hex head. And I got these hubs that are brass. I forget the weight, the gram, but they are, I believe they're the 415 SLW hubs, brass hubs from Lockedup RC. So those are going to work great. Of course, if you get their hubs, you got to get their scale acorn lug nuts, lug studs, whatever they call them. What do they call them? Acorn stud. So that's the size you look up on their website and you get them. I do like that they've started to print all of these with a sticker. So when you get them, you can read them and it makes them super nice for organizing. If you've got, I use a It's actually in the house, but I use an old, like a spice rack that goes in the kitchen. I cleaned out all the little jars when we were moving. We were going to throw it away. And I decided to use it, and all the caps are labeled for the different types of hardware. So when I'm building stuff, I can just grab it really quick and pull exactly what I need. If you're going to get these rings, you do need these itty bitty little guys. They come in packs of 100. That's because on these rings, 6 of them, you can see how this hole right there goes through. 6 of them actually clamp the bead, and the rest of them are just for looks. So you don't have to try to torque 30, I think they're 32 holes in a star pattern for scale stuff. I get that for one-to-one type stuff, but definitely that'd be a lot of work. So as far as all their other stuff, I've got a full box of their scale hardware. Super nice stuff to have, very high quality, and I can't say enough. I mean, what do you want me to say more? They're good looking, high quality products. So we'll order a bunch more, I'm sure. All right, the second parts on the chopping block for this review. I got a huge wave of parts today. I got to restock on all the locked up RC hardware that I've already gone through. I got these Exocaged RC inserts. They are for the bogger, proline bogger specifically. This tire is my favorite because of how it looks, performs. I'm kind of a mud racing guy. I've in the process of building another mud racing truck. It's got a big block stroker and a whole bunch of other crazy parts. So I'm always excited when I see a big set of knobby tires going on a rig. This tire sits 1.9 wheels and 5.4 inches tall. They're pretty much the same size as a 2.2. This is a 2.2 Thornbird. And I mean, with the stock foams, I think they're a little taller than the, or just a hair taller than the 2.2. So they're a big tire. They scale to like a 53, 54 inch tall Super Swamper, which is pretty cool. The only issue with this tire that I have found is not in performance of the actual tread, because it works just as good as the real tire. It's actually the stock foam. So I like heavy rigs. I like the way they act. I like the way they, kind of bounce, and I don't know, I just like the way they feel. A light rig to me doesn't get my goat. It doesn't get me excited to run it. It's just a light rig. Of course, it's going to crawl everything. A heavy rig's going to move and articulate like a real rig, and that's what I want. So these stock foams are a little too soft for, 15 plus pound rig. I ran the Proline 1.9 two-stage foams, and then I ran their firm inner, and then they have another outer that's soft like this foam. And then I took a 2.2 foam and I cut a ring out and then put that on top of them to fill this tire out on that rig. That rig was on the same chassis, much less tube, bare bones pretty much, other than what you see. I had a couple of scale stuff. I didn't go quite as crazy as I did with this one. And they worked okay. It was pretty heavy. The tires conformed a little too much. They rolled a little too much. I actually ended up tearing out the center of one of the tires because the foams weren't keeping up. So I wasn't sure what I was going to run on this truck. I think something of the Super Swamper nature. I bought J-Concept Tusks. They're just a little too narrow for this truck. I didn't really like the look of them. I've ran these tires, Rock Beasts. They're like the RC version of a Pitbull rocker. I ran the scale rockers, but these have always just been my favorite. And like I said, the only issue with them is nobody's made an insert. Nobody's made a 3D printed insert. It'd be cool if these are tunable, like I've seen in other other inserts, but they are directional, which I thought was super interesting. So they're going to roll and conform one way better than they will the other way. They're pretty firm. I got to push on them pretty hard to get them to conform, but I'm sure once it's in a tight spot articulating and stuff like that, these tires are gonna wrinkle and do all the cool, satisfying stuff that we all like. I figured that I haven't seen anything other than his video on these. I'd jump on and make a video along with everything else and show you how they conform just sitting on a rig. Obviously there's going to be a tire wrapped in them, but they sit pretty squished. I really like it. I think that that's going to add a pretty good scale look once it's all put together. I mean, it's going to squish down a little bit and have that little bit of bulge, but the wheel isn't going to be sitting on the ground like it would with normal foams. Like these sit way too low. It is also, these are broken, and I ran them on a slash for a while and they're kind of trashed, but you know, once these break in, I think it's going to sit just perfect. To turn these big behemoths, I got a Reefs RC servo, which is also a first for me, which is pretty cool. Moving up in the world to not Amazon specials. But quick flash at this. It was on sale because the container was broken. But I am excited to get that in there and make it work. So, yeah. Other than that, I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see a video on these to be reviewed. And I obviously haven't ran them yet. The project's not done. I got a bunch of paneling and stuff to do, but that's how they fit in the tire. They go in pretty difficult. You really got to ball them up to get them to fit in the wheel hole. A slight comparison between the foam, the stock foam, and then these inserts. You lose a little bit of height, and I'm okay with that because right off the bat, it's not even on the truck yet, and I can already see it's holding it up. I mean, I can already see that this is going to really keep this truck just planted. I'm not going to rip the sidewall out anymore. I'm excited to run them. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on these. I'm really excited. I can't wait till my wheels show up here and I get them all mounted. The only thing I wish that was an option, and of course it's just like me personally, not everybody likes that wide look. I wish this didn't neck down so much. I wish that there was different options, because on the website it specifically says that these are for a comp style wheel. They're going to pinch down really narrow to fit on some narrow wheels, and obviously that's not what I'm going to have. So I'm going to probably end up putting some foam, a little bit of foam in here to kind of puff this out a little bit so that it's not too, I don't like that you can tell on most wheels that there's nothing in there. More scale wheels, if you get crawling and stuff, it'll suck in around the insert or it'll pull in against the foam, and I don't like that look. I want it to look nice and not stretched. I don't feel like that's the right adjective for the look, just full. I really like how square with a little bit of sidewall sticking out, just because that's the look that I like. So yeah, excited to test them out, and I'll probably post a picture or video of that as well, and it's gonna be awesome.